I'm converting the tracks in my staging yard from single-ended to double-ended. I'd like to show you what I've done so far. That's coming right up. Hi, I'm Roy Smith. Welcome to my layout. Today I'd like to show you the changes I'm making in my staging yard. As I said, I'm converting all of the tracks in the yard from single-ended to double-ended. What a big improvement this is making on my layout. For me, the staging yard is an essential part of my track plan. It allows me to run my trains to and from off-layout destinations. It represents the rest of the world beyond the visible part of my layout. As you can see, my staging yard is not hidden. I have left it open for easy access. In my opinion, it isn't necessary to hide staging yards behind fascia, or helixes either for that matter. Right now it serves more as a storage yard than a staging yard. I can move all the trains on the upper level of the layout down to the lower level staging yard when I want to clean track or do other maintenance on the upper level. But the staging yard will serve as an actual staging yard later on when I begin to run regular operations on my layout. Besides, it's hard to do classification operations up here at Green River when the yard is jam-packed full of cars, as it is right now. The benchwork for my staging yard is 48 inches above floor level, and the upper level of the layout is 56 inches above floor level. That means the upper level is chest height for me. It also means the clearance between the two levels is 8 inches. Here's what the track arrangement at the eastern end of the yard looked like before I began to change it. And here I am changing the track arrangement. I love the way Cato Unitrack snaps together. I also appreciate the way it comes in a large number of straight lengths and curved radii that allow me to easily configure it to fit the space I have available. Let me show you the track plan before and after double-ending the staging yard. In both cases, it consists of 8 tracks in a 12-foot long area of the layout. The difference is 6 of the 8 tracks were single-ended before. Now, all 8 of the tracks are double-ended using number 6 turnouts. As you can see, I used a compound ladder at each end of the yard. Originally, 3 of the single-ended tracks represented the off-layout destination of Cheyenne, Wyoming to the east, and 3 of them represented Ogden, Utah to the west. The 2 center tracks were part of the double-track main line used by loads and empties traveling in opposite directions. The single-ended tracks were really frustrating because diesels pulling trains into those tracks were trapped there until a second set of diesels hooked up to the opposite end of the trains and began their return trip in the opposite direction. Remember that westbound trains descend the western helix to arrive at the staging yard. Eastbound trains descend the eastern helix to arrive at the staging yard. I'll include an annotation at the end of this video that will take you to a video describing these 2 helixes. Let's talk for a minute about uncoupling in the staging yard. Here we are at the east end of the yard before I double-ended this section of the yard. First, I use a catomagnetic uncoupler to uncouple the diesel from the cars. Since the track is still single-ended in this clip, the diesel is now trapped here. Now I'm using a Rix pick, just as I do on the upper level of my layout, where there are no uncouplers. As you can see, either method seems to work okay, unless my view is blocked by other trains. This is what the catomagnetic uncouplers look like close up. They are built right into a short section of track. I also have these microtrain uncouplers, but I haven't tried them yet. Here I'm adding a backdrop to the staging yard. It's just a cosmetic improvement, but it makes a big difference in the appearance of the staging yard. Believe it or not, the backdrop is nothing more than foam core board painted sky blue. I haven't yet determined how many cars can fit on each of the 8 tracks in the staging yard. However, as we can see here, 2 diesels are pulling 22 coal porters onto the shortest of the 8 tracks. It looks like there's room for at least 2 more coal porters. Typically my trains are 15 to 18 cars long. Let me mention that I have one other small staging yard representing the Pocatello subdivision. It's far from complete, but I'll put an annotation at the end of this video that will take you to another video describing the Pocatello staging yard. Work on the staging yard is not done. I still have to drop the feeder wires and turnout wires. I can reach all of the turnouts to throw them manually, but just like in the old track arrangement, it's difficult to see which way the turnouts are thrown. So I will need to install some kind of indicator lights showing switch position on the fascia of my layout. And even though I can reach all of the turnouts, I may install NCE switch cats to power them. Unfortunately, there is no reversing loop in which to turn entire trains around. Instead, my diesels have to do a runaround on an empty track in the staging yard to get to the opposite end of the train for the return trip. Maybe I can build a reversing loop in the future, but this will be a major task. Well, that's the progress I've made in double-ending my staging yard. I'm sure I will have a lot more to say about the staging yard later on when I begin to do regular operations on my layout. At that point, you will be able to see just how important the staging yard really is on my layout. Until next time, thanks for watching and happy railroading.